Good afternoon, Andrea. Welcome to Malta. Welcome to Uncorked, the first event of this kind that Farsons Direct is organizing. They're actually doing a full wine portfolio tasting. Introduce yourself, Brancaia, and where are you coming from, Tuscan?
Yeah, so my name is Andrea D'Alessio and I'm the Global Sales Director for Brancaia since actually almost 9 years. And I'm born and raised in Piedmont, so in another wine region. Our estate is a winery that was founded by a Swiss family. They came to Tuscany in 1981 and they purchased an estate in Castellino in Chianti with the idea just to spend their vacations there. And what was started as a hobby becomes a big passion for them, so the winemaking of wines, because they purchased an estate with a very small quantity of vineyards inside. They started the production of wines just for family and friends at the beginning, but then what was started as a hobby becomes a big passion, and they would like to have a second estate, so they purchased an estate in Radda Chianti in 1988, and they built their own cellar and they started the production of their wines. What was really interesting is that their idea from the beginning was producing quality without compromise. Immediately they decided to hire the one that was considered at that time the best enologist worldwide, that was Carlo Ferrini. So the idea was just to produce very high-end wines and just the best quality. As you know, in Tuscany, most of the labels are very traditional, also because they are related to families which are in the winemaking or in the business since a generation, like Marchesi Antinori, Frescobaldi or something. They were not coming from the wine business, so they decided when they started to create a modern style label. And our label is iconic, is a square with Brancaia and the vintage written on. It's still modern today, but it's a label that was born with the vintage 1988 of our Il Blu, that was our very iconic wine.
And which wines do you produce?
We have now 3 estates, 2 in the Chianti Classico region and 1 in the south of Tuscany in Maremma. The one in the south of Tuscany was purchased in 1998. And we are producing actually wines from the Chianti Classico region, so the 3 Chianti Classicos, so the Classico Annata, the Riserva and the Gran Selezione. We are producing some IGT from Tuscany, and we are producing also a Maremma Toscana DOC.
Brancaia is associated with this elegance and with precision. And how do you achieve this across the various places you're having?
With
Chianti,
the 3 estates,
but
of course, the idea is also that differently than the past, now we are much more focused on the grapes we are having on each estate. So, to give you an example, like our estate in Maremma is a place which is very hot and dry. We are facing the Mediterranean Sea, and is a place that for this reason is not exceptional in some ways for the Sangiovese and for the Merlot. Even if at the beginning we put in a lot of Sangiovese and a lot of Merlot, of course we saw that the international grapes like Petit Verdot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc were growing much better in these particular conditions. So, and that's why in these estates we are focused on international grapes. I wouldn't say that Maremma is not good for Sangiovese or something, because we can just talk for our little plot. So, like I can just say that the only difference, which is really unique that we have, is that my piece of land is not the same as yours or my neighbor or something. So even if the difference is small, but something can change. And in order to maximize this, of course, we focused much more on international grapes, which are really growing very well even without using irrigation. Because as you know, in Maremma we are allowed to use irrigation, but we don't like to use it. Because when you use irrigation, the roots don't need anymore to go very deep in the soil. You have a quick maturation, a fast maturation, so you lose complexity. So our idea is that we focus on the grapes which are able to grow without using this irrigation. And that's why some vineyard we are having of Tre Merlot are now used to produce our Tre, and our Sangiovese as well for our Tre. While the most of the Merlot is used to produce a rosé. We are having a rosé which is 100% Merlot, and with no contact with the skins, so very pale color and something elegant with a good sapidity. So,
where do you see Brancaia excelling? On the table, or only for special moments, like a whole, the winery itself, the company itself?
I guess we are having a portfolio which is having different
Suitable
products
for
and should be for everything. So, and if we are thinking both for price positioning and for quality level and drinkability. Of course, the premium wines we are having, like Il Blu, La Traia, Chianti Classico, Gran Selezione, are the products which are much more sold on wine shop and high-end, like Michelin-starred restaurants. And I will say the other products can be also part of any wine list in any kind of restaurant. So they can match really with all the occasion and all the kind of food.
Andrea, thank you. I'll be seeing you
Grazie.
inside and try some Brancaia wines.
Bravo. Yes, with pleasure.